Hey, what's going on, tech heads? Teknyka here with another Desperate edition, and we're gonna just jump right into it. You checked out the preview yesterday, and you already know what's up. So, Gmail hackers have control of 2FA email and number. Here's what to do. According to David Winder from Forbes, he's a veteran of cybersecurity, writer, hacker, and analyst on... Well, there's an update today. This story originally published on October 7, which includes new advice regarding how attackers bypass 2FA protections and how to best mitigate these dangers before a hacker can exploit your Gmail account. So this story has definitely been updated since yesterday when I made the preview, and let's just get into it. Search of any Gmail support online forums, social media, platforms such as Gmail subreddit, or the phishing community itself. One question comes up time and time again. My Gmail account has been hacked. How can I recover it? Right. Disregarding the inevitable dodgy attempts at uncovering some magic way to hack into someone else's account, the majority are still likely to be genuine requests for help. For example, October 6th, and analogous to many, a friend of mine's Google account got stolen. The hacker shames the recovery phone number and email address. Poster explains that they had enabled two-factor authentication and ask if it can be done to recover an account, or is he cooked? I think he's cooked. Come on. The good news is that it's still entirely possible to recover a Google account, but they saw everything that's in your account, hopefully wasn't too sensitive of data. The hacker managed to evade and change most, if not all, the security and recovery protections that were in place. Look at this. Even if the poster replied to one suggested solution, whoever stole the account changed the recovery email and phone number to their own and disabled all recovery methods. So that doesn't it just contradict what they just said? Like, seriously, that really just contradicts what... Moving forward, Google does, despite the negative opinions of many people seemingly frustrated by the process, offer lots of help in recovering your Google account. Indeed, there's a whole section of Google's support devoted to securing a hacked or compromised account. I suspect that most people who say these steps don't work haven't followed the instructions provided by Google precisely and waited the allotted time for the process to complete. So then they have some rather questionnaires here that Google provides, and then if you scroll down, it says you may see a message telling your account is on security hold, and delays often put in place between making the recovery request and processing them to recovery claim. While some people get annoyed by this, rightly so, it's a proactive measure, so you should be patient. Let's walk with me here, right? Walk with me. So it literally says 2FA. What more are you supposed to do to protect yourself at this point, right? I mean, that was the whole point of 2FA. You were patient enough to set this up. You were patient enough to put your phone number in there, which I think, depending on your cell provider, is usually a charge because they want to charge you for a SIM card. But I know a lot of things are going eSIM these days, so maybe not. But in the case of changing your phone number because you've been compromised, and then you combine that with the breach that happened, and things just get messy, tech heads. So let's just jump down to a solution, right? Here we go. Recently reported that the developers of notorious info stealer malware, including Lumar, must highlight these, Lumar, Baluma, Medusa, and Radamanth's Steel C, Vidar, and Whitesnake had all been released updates that claimed they had bypassed Google's cookie stealing protections. But guess how they got into the cookies? It's always the damn cookies. Some stated that they could crack account 2FA in less than 10 minutes. Despite Google having upgraded the protections found in Chrome 127, including application-bound encryption, which is similar to macOS, encrypts data, and identity introduced to combat this kind of attack. it didn't. Anyways, owning a cookie that validates the use session at the 2FA has already been completed gives the attacker complete control over that session. Complete control to go to and change your Gmail recovery options. 2FA, the lot. So what can you do to mitigate this attack? Finally, the meat and potatoes. Here we go. Mitigate the session cookie info stealer threat. I'm gonna venture your guess that they're gonna say clear cache, clear browser history, and clear all that stuff. I want you to really think about the common person tech hit. Think about an elder or a non-technical person like yourself, because you're here and you are part of the tech hit army that is growing day by day. By the way, you should like, comment, subscribe if you're over on the YouTube page. And if you're on YouTube, you should come over to Ifer. Give them some shout out. Give them some love too, because they showed me some love with this desktop version. Anyways, I was getting on a point about if you have someone who met those particular criterias, right? How often are they going to actually go clear the cache? I mean, how often do people delete the screenshots if they're not prompted to on an iPhone? Or even Android for that matter, now think of it. Because I got mine set to off delete if I take a screenshot. That way it doesn't, eat up too much space. So, anywho, they are supposed to put a solution here, and it seems like they didn't, because this is the bottom of the page. I like how, so what can you do to mitigate this type of attack? So let's just read the last paragraph, and then we're going to get out of here and move on to the next story. A Google spokesperson said, this type of attack is well known and has built-in defenses, such a high-frequency cookie rotation, device-bound session credentials, and risk-based re-authentication that keep users safe. Additionally, the first line of defense against attacks like this is used an operating system like Chrome OS that is secured by the this is an advertisement for Chrome. This became advertisement for Chrome. It's also wise to consider using passkeys. Okay, this is another thing that Google has been trying to implement if you're on Android. Help to drive the adoption of across online services. Are these resisting to phishing and other online attacks? Google said. Right, because yeah, totally. Yeah, I totally buy that, tech heads. I totally buy that. Making them more secure than SMS, app-based one-time passwords, and other forms of multi-factor authentication. Tech heads, let's just say, if a thief has your blueprints, it's just going to be an uphill battle. And I was speaking to, who was that? Was it Venus on Hyper? I'm sorry, I can't recall your name. But I want to give you a shout out in this video because you left some comments on the page, and I wanted to address that. It's nothing bad. It's just, it sounds spooky or scary because, well, it can be, but doesn't mean it is. And there are ways to mitigate it, but it's all about what you want to do, tech heads. At the end of the day, what do you want to do? If you are a person who likes convenience and don't really want to think, and that's not to disparage you, but if you don't want to think, then you have everything set up on auto, then, you're more susceptible to these type of things because you don't change them out. Like, when I did the breach video, I recommend people rotating out their credit cards and debit cards. I understand that can be a hassle, especially if let's say a rural town and getting to a bank or your credit union is going to be, well, an adventure, really. So you're not going to be able to do that every 3 months or every quarter or so just to stay ahead of the game. I get that. But I also understand that you have to be able to be proactive to stay ahead of the people who really don't give a shit about you. So we're just going to end it there. I don't want to go into a diatribe and make this video very negative. All I'm saying is Google has identified a problem. Great. That's fantastic. But they really didn't give a solid solution to what to do because every person probably past 2011 has a Gmail account because they made it very convenient, very free, and it's tied to Google Drive, Google Photos, Meet, Hangout. I mean, if they haven't killed some of those things, because Google is notorious for killing projects and apps and stuff like that. Like Google Duo doesn't even exist anymore, and that was far superior on iOS, even though it was built in a Android environment. No, whatever. You hope you learned something today. Catch you on the next Desk Break, Tech Hits, and remember, your safety is paramount, and it's up to you to make sure you do your due diligence. See you on the next one.